Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group and check out this website also where you can find so many project ideas with live version, proper flow, diagram and APIs and documentation and all. Now let's start with the video. So in this video, we are going to try to complete a train booking application. So previously also I have done the same thing, but somehow video was not proper. Some part of it recording was not there. So that's why I'm creating it again. But this time we will be doing it with Angular 18. Now, so when we say about train booking, so we have majorly two modules. First, like admin module will be there from where stations, trains will be created, bookings can be seen. And one more is website. That is for the customer, end user, who is actually going to use the data we insert from the admin login. In this episode, we are just going to focus on the admin, but I will showcase you like how you can create the trains and everything. So you can also test it. So in website part, what we are going to do, we will have a home page. So this is the home page. From here, we are going to search the session, select the travel update and click on search. Once we click on the search, we will navigate to this search page. And here, whatever the filter criteria we have set, that will be pre-selected and trains matching from that destinations on that particular date will be visible over here. And from here, you can book the particular ticket for the particular train. So let's say if I click on book now. So this is the form, because when we book the ticket, we can book multiple tickets, correct? So that's why this is single with multiple entity form. Passenger name, we can click on add, we can do multiple booking. But obviously it's a booking application. So again, registration and everything will be there. So search page, this is the search page, then register and the login page will be there. We will do that register and the login with the model pop-up and the booking page where we can see, where we will be able to book the ticket. So this is the model pop-up where we will be booking the ticket. Obviously payment gateway and everything I'm not going to cover, just how the idea is you should be able to understand or idealize like how train booking might be working apart from payment gateway, but how it might be working, right? So that thing we are going to cover. APIs will be available on this free api.miniprojectapis.com. You need to run the project on particular 4209, then only you will be able to access. So let me show you the API. So this is the API. You can see this is the domain, and in train API, train app, you will find all the APIs which we are going to use. Then the UI, whatever the UI you are seeing over here, that is already provided in my GitHub repository. So you just have to go to this repository and you can check that. So now, initially, I have created the repository also. So that project I have created and I have run the project on the particular port. So you can see ngs-port 4209. So application is running on 4209 port. So you can see 4209, the basic application is created. Once I created the basic project, what I have done is I have installed Bootstrap and Font Awesome. So you can see Bootstrap and Font Awesome. Let me show you how. So this is the command by which you will be able to create the project. After project creation, you can run npm i bootstrap and npm i Font Awesome. Once you run these two commands, you will have the Bootstrap installed. Sorry, hyphen will be there. Then once you install the Bootstrap and the Font Awesome, you need to add these entries into angular.json over here in the style section like this. That's it, what I have done. Apart from that, it is just an empty project. Now, as we discussed, we are going to have a home page, search page, and register and login will be in the model pop-up. So we are not going to need separate component for that. Now, this model pop-up, we will keep it in the, let's say, app component, because in app component, we are going to have the navbar and everything. And booking page, again, this is again in the model pop-up. So this model, we will keep it in the search page. So let's create the components we are going to need. So in the app folder, I'm going to create a folder, pages. Here, let's create the components. Right click, new terminal, ng generate component. First component I'm going to create is my, let's say, home component. In home component, we will just have the search bar. this search form and the image. The same thing we will have in the home component, and this navbar will be in the app component, that is our parent component. Then we will need a second component, that is search. So let's okay, already open. This will be search. Now, if you see, we have created two components. So these are the only two components we are going to need. Now, once component are created, next thing is we have to create the routes. So we have app route.ts. Again, I'm not going to cover everything like what difference are there with previous version and this version, that I have already covered in the tutorial videos. So over here, we need to create the routes. So let me show you the UI once again. So now this is the landing page. The user will land onto this page, and once he clicks, once he search whatever the criteria he needs, if he clicks on the search with this parameter, he is going to navigate to the search page, and then we are going to get the data of the search parameter. So for this, once we click on the search, we are going to navigate back to the search page, but we have to send the data also along with the parameter. So we have to create the route with parameter. So let's say first route I'm creating, that will be path empty route, redirect to empty, path strategy, sorry, redirect to, we will redirect to home page. So this is my default route. If I don't have anything in the URL, I will navigate over here. Then we need home page URL, component, home component. Then now here we need the search component route, but that search component route is going to be a parameterized route. So here path. Now how many parameter we are going to need? See, from station to station and the date of travel. So three parameters we are going to pass. So let's say search, then slash colon. Let's say from station ID. Then again slash colon second parameter to station ID. Again slash colon and date of travel. So you can see we have created a route with three parameters. Then component will be our search component. That's it. So only three routes will be there. Again, I'm just covering the website part, but if we have to create the admin part also, so many components we will be needing, like create train, update train, train list, everything. But website part, only three routes are needed. So let's close this. Let's see if we are able to run the application. Application was running already. If I refresh, yeah, so here you can see homework is coming, but still this page is coming because it's just an empty project. So we get this content in the app component. So let's remove that. Let's remove it. We will just have a router outlet over here. Now, if I save it, so now you can see home component is there. Even if I remove it, see, still it is redirecting to our home component. That's because of our default route. Now, so this is the home component URL. So this is the repository. So here you can see this is the HTML content I have. Now I said like navbar will go into the app component. So let's copy the navbar and let's put the navbar into our app component. So here in app component, we will have the navbar. Let's save and check. So navbar is there, but styles are not applying. So let's get the style also. Let me just copy. Let's And this is the common URL, common CSS. So I will put it into style.css. So style.css is the place where you can put your common CSS. So you can see navbar is here as per the UI. Then we need this image and this three text box into our home component. So this is the container. Let's copy, and this will go into our home component. Let's add it. Let's save it and check it. So now you can see image is not coming. I thought so. From Angular 17 to load the image from, what do we say, our asset folder, we need to do something. So we need this image also, banner 2. So let's try to copy this image into our Angular folder, Angular project. So asset folder, I thought asset folder is not there from Angular 18. Instead of let's try any, or we can use, let's get any image from Google. I don't want to waste time in that. We are just going to use any URL, any image from the URL. Let's try to use this. Open in a new tab. It's opening base64 image. Let's try this. Yeah, so let me just copy this. And now instead of this static URL, I'm going to pass the online URL. So let's save. So you can see image is visible. Okay, now the first thing, like if I show you the API, so this is the API which is responsible to get all the station. So you can see we are going to get all the station. So first thing, we need to call all the station and bind it over here. So from station and to station should have all the station details, which will come from the API. So now first thing, like we are going to make the API call. So let me just close the app component. Now we are going to make the API call. So to make the API call, first thing, this is Angular. From Angular 17, we don't have app module. So earlier we used to add HTTP client module, but that thing is now replaced with app config. So now over here, provider section is there. Here we can add provide HTTP client. Make sure if you are preparing for the interview, be aware about the changes we have in Angular 17 and 18. They won't go in deep, but at least you should be aware of the new things, what they are. Even the project is old, they will ask you these things. Now, so we have added provide HTTP client into our app config. So now we can make the API call. Now we have to create the API call function. So we can call the API from directly component itself, but instead of do that, we can create a service. So let's create a service folder. Inside this folder, I will create a service. Let's open a terminal. Ng generate service. Let's say train, just a name I'm giving. So I have created a service. Now in this service, we are going to keep our all API call functions. So first thing, we have to create an instance of our HTTP client. So private HTTP colon HTTP client. So this is the old thing. This is called as a dependency injection. We have got a new thing also to create an instance of injectable service, what we call as inject, but we will see that in the home component. So this is the old way, dependency injection. Now, first API call function, get all stations. This dot HTTP dot get. Now, so whatever the API call we are going to do, we need to return the response of that. That's why we need to return the data. So get API call we are going to make. So now let's go to Swagger. So you can see this is my URL. So let's copy, let's paste that URL over here. Now we are going to make the multiple API call. In all the API call, this is the common part. So instead of having it in all the function, what I will do, I will remove this and put it into a global variable. API URL data type string is equal to single quote. Now over here, now I will use the template literal. Sorry, train app will be also there. Slash. Then just method name we need. So here, instead of that, we will use template literal to bind those. So here dollar curly bracket here this dot API URL slash get all station. So this is like we are concatenating whatever the value we have over here and then get all station. This slash we don't need as we have it over here. So this is the first API call. Now this API call is going to return the data of this type array. You can see this type of data is going to return station ID, station name, and status code. Three things are going to be there. So let's create an interface also. Now I have to create an interface. So in app folder, I will create a folder, let's say model. Inside that, train.ts, simply .ts file, export, interface, I station. What things we have in the API call? Let's create the instance. Let's create the properties that data type will be number. Then we have station name, string. This is just we are strongly typing the data type. You will get it. Let me just complete this. So what we have done, whatever the type of properties we were getting, we have just created an interface of that. Now, this API call function we are going to make into our home component. So in home component, first we have to create the instance of our train service. So that will be using inject. The new thing what we have got from Angular 16, I'm going to use that. So train service is equal to inject you have to use. And what you are going to inject? Train service. So train service like this. So what we did over here, this was a dependency injection. This is the new replacement like this. Now, on the page load, we need to call the API. So we have to use the lifecycle hook of a component that will be on in it. So you need to add it. Then you need to implement it. So up to Angular 15, that was default code we used to get it, but now it is not there. So make sure you have the habit of writing like this. Now we will create a function to get all the station. So load all station. Now, from this function, we are going to call our function from this service. So this dot train service dot only one function is there currently, get all station. This function doesn't need any parameter. Now, this function is going to return the data type of observable. See, return type. Now, whatever this function is returning an observable, so we can subscribe to it. Result colon any. Now, here you can see the response of my API call will be an object, and in data, you will get the actual array. So here, now this function is going to return the data, whatever API returns. So we need to hold that also. So for holding that, we will create an variable. So station list colon. Now, what type of array we are going to get? This type of data. So I station, it is going to get array. So empty. So instead of normally what we used to do is we used to normally do it like this any, but instead of that, we have created an interface. So the interface which we have created, we have provided to the variable data type which we are going to have. So here this dot train list, station list is equal to res dot data, because in data you are going to get the array. Now this function you are going to call on the page load. So in ng let's save, let's save, let's save. Now on the page load, let's see if we have the API call or not. So inspect, open the developer console, check the network tab. Let me reload it. So now in the network tab, you will be able to see one API call. See, and you are getting the data also in the data. See, all the stations are there. Now we have got the data into an array. That array, we need to bind it over here. This was a static. Now let's make it dynamic. So this is the array. Now this was a static. So let me just remove one. Now from Angular 17, we have got some control flow statement. That is, if we have to iterate element into Angular, we know ng for, but there is a new thing that is control flow statement. That is writing direct for loop in the HTML. So at the rate for, you can write it. And whatever the element you want to iterate, that will go inside for loop. Now, what we on this station list, we need to iterate. So this will go over here. Now here, property binding, we will bind item dot see IntelliSense is coming. That's because we have provided a data type of interface. So that's why you are able to see the properties available in that array. Station ID, we will bind it over here. And here we will bind station name. So item dot station name. Now the same thing will be over here also, because from and to will have the both the same station only. So let's just save and check if we are able to have the drop down. See, correct? So first thing is done. We have binded the stations, whatever we have in the ticket. Now, next thing, on click of search, we are going to pass these three parameter while navigating. So let's create an object, and that object we will, or let's create an individual three variables. So let me just create from station ID, data type will be number. Let's initialize to 0, just like that, to station and the date and date of travel. So I have created three variables. Let's add a date. Let's initialize with new date, or let's keep it as a string. Doesn't matter. We are going to pass the string data only. So what I have done, I have created three variables. That three variable we are going to bind to our form. So we can make use of the template form. So if you have to use the template form, we have to import forms module over here. Forms module. Why forms module is not coming? Forms. Let's add the import. Then it will come. So it will come from forms. So if it is not suggesting properly, you can just add an import first, then you can use it. Forms module will go over here. Now, these three variable we have to bind to the three elements we have. So this is the first one. So square bracket, round bracket, ng model equal to double quote. And we will be binding from station ID over here. And since these elements are inside the form tag, so name attribute is also mandatory. Let's copy over here and over here also. To station ID will go to the to station drop down over here. And the last one, date of travel. So let's copy over here, over here. Now let's just check if we are having any error or not. Always keep your console on. Make sure like we don't have any error. Now here we need one validation. So if from station is New Delhi and to station is also New Delhi, we need on click of search, we need to show the validation. And if we don't select the date of travel, so still we need to show the validation. So let's just add a static check over there. So we have the search button. So let's write a click event on this, on search. Let's create this function. So just go step by step, one thing at a time, complete one page, then only you move on to the next page. So you don't have to visit again the same page. So now here we will just add a normal check from station to station instead of 0 will be there. No? So let's initialize 0 over here, value 0, so that placeholder will be visible. Let's check if placeholder is visible. Yeah, now you can see from station and to stations placeholder are visible. Now, so initially if stations are not selected, we have a 0 value over here. So like that we will add. So if you can add the validation also, but I'm just saving the time for that. So this dot from station equal to 0, or this dot to station equal to 0, or this dot date of travel is equal to empty. So what I have added, I'm checking like if trains from to and date of travel is empty, means if any of the three condition matches, we will get this if block executed. So here we will show an alert box like select journey details. Your details, because without detail we cannot get the trains, correct? And in else we will have to again add a check. Let's just first do this. So if I click on search, you can see we are getting the error. Let's select New Delhi, Shimoga. Let's select New Delhi, New Delhi. And if I click on search, still I'm getting, because I have said all the parameters are mandatory. Let's select search. So now nothing is happening, means it is going to the else block. Now in else block, again, we need to add a condition. If from station and to station are same, equal to station, we will showcase the error. That is the second validation, like from and to station cannot be same. From and to station can't be same. Let's check this. So first basic validation, Let's select New Delhi, to station also New Delhi. Now, if I click on search, you can see we are getting the error like from and to station can't be sent. Correct? Now, if it is else, means if all the validation are selected properly, user has selected the proper data, then we should navigate back to the search page. So let's navigate to the search page now. Now, here from .ts, we are going to navigate to the search page. So we have to create an instance of router service. So router is equal to inject. What we need to inject? The router. Now we are going to navigate to search page. So let's get the route info first. Now search page has three parameters: from station ID, to station and the date of travel. So we are going to navigate with that. So this dot router dot navigate. This is the method we are going to use. Square bracket. Now we have to pass the first parameter, that will be my route. So route will be search. So this is my route. So it will go over here. Then other parameter we need to send. So first parameter, let's say, what is the first parameter over here? From station, to station and date of travel. So this dot from station ID. Second parameter, to station ID. And third parameter, date of travel. Let's see if we are able to navigate to the search page or not. From station, Solapur. Let's check on date of travel 4 on click of search. Now you can see we are able to navigate. You can see 220 is there and date is also there. So successfully we have navigated with routing. Now over here, so now we have to we have to search the train with from station 2 to station ID this and with this particular date. Currently, I have not added the proper trains for this, but let me showcase you that also, like how do we add the trains also. So station data is available over here. Let's just see. New Delhi is there. Then Solapur is this. I'm just adding a dummy data for now, so that you will also be aware like how you will add the train part, because that admin panel I'm not covering. So you can see two station is two, and from station, let's say two, we are creating a train from New Delhi to Solapur. So now let's go to create train. So this is the API to add new train. So here you can see, let's click on try it out. So now train ID is the primary key, so you don't have to pass that. Train number, you can just pass it like 1, 2, something unique you need to pass. Train name, let's say New Delhi Solapur. So from New Delhi to Solapur. So New Delhi ID is train station ID is 2. So departure station ID will go 2 and arrival station will be, what is the Solapur ID? 20. And date of travel, departure time, let's say 5 p.m. Anything is a free text box, so you can add 11 a.m. Total seats, let's say 300 seats are there. Now departure date. On which date we are trying to add? Let's say today is 2nd July. So let's try for 5th. So that will be 5th over here. Now if we click on execute, our train should be created. So you can see train has been created. One train is there. Let's add another train. So train number will be something else. Now I will change the name. Let's say Kashina Dakshin Express. Just the name you are giving. We are trying to create trains from this destination to that destination with particular date. So again, stations will be the same, and this train is going to leave from 11 a.m. and it will reach around 7 p.m. the other day. This is limited train, so let's make it 200 and departure time will be same. Let's click on execute. So now from Delhi to Solapur, we have created two trains. Now just we have an API, get trains between the station. So what is the data we have got? So see, from station 2 and to station 20. So let's try to filter it out. To arrival station ID 20 and date of departure will be this. Let's try it. We should be able to see the trains we have created. We are not able to see. Why? Let's try to do the vice versa. I did something wrong or what? 2000. Okay, sorry. We created train on the 5, no? 7. No. On which date? 5. For fifth date we have created. So see, two trains are coming. One train we have created name with Dakshin Express and another one with New Delhi. Correct? So whatever the time and total seats we have created, like just like that, it is coming. So if you are working on this project, this is how you will create the train. Okay, then only you will be able to see the data, because so many guys were complaining like how to, I'm not able to see the trains and matching. So you have to create the train, because admin panel we don't have it, right? So create the train, then only you will be able to see. So from Swagger, you have to create the train. Now, on the page load in the search page, first thing, we have something query parameter in the URL. So first we need to read that data. So in home, our work is done for home component. So let's close everything. Now we have to go to the search page. So now in search page, we need to read the data, whatever we have in the query parameter. So to do that, we need to create an instance of activated route. Is equal to inject activated route. Now we will create constructor, and in constructor we will read those query parameter data. Now over here, what we need to do, this dot activated route dot params. Params means query parameter, and we have to subscribe to that. Result colon any. Let's add a debugger and let me show you how we get that data. Let's enable it. So now you can see in result we have got from station ID also we have got to station and the date of travel also. So whatever the query parameter we had, that we are able to read. Now this same object we will store into a local variable. So let's create a local variable. Search data colon any. Now instead of any again, what we will do, we will create a instead of interface, now I will create a class. So export class. What data we are going to have? So let's check the route, same data from station. Then we have to station ID and date of travel. So now I'm going to create a class. Instead of in class, we have to add a comma. Sorry, here we need to add the semicolon. Now it is saying like these properties are not initialized. So let's initialize that in a constructor. So it's a class. So we have an access of constructor from station ID is equal to 0. This dot to station ID is equal to 0. Just I'm initializing the value, and this dot date of travel is equal to empty. This will be number. So we have created a class of the whatever the data we are going to have. This will be, let's say, search data. Now here in search component, we have to create an object, right? So this class instance, we will be providing it over here as a data type to this variable. Let's add the import is equal to, I have to initialize it like this. And whatever the data I get, that I will store it over here. So this dot search data is equal to res, complete object. So let's save and check if we are properly getting it. So we have got the object, that same object we are trying to store it over here. See, now in search data, we have the object. Now we have to use this data to make this API call, get trains between the station. So this API call we have to make. So this kind of URL we need to pass. So first we have to go to the service. Where is the service? Yeah. Now we have to create the API call. So get trains search. Now for this function, we are going to have three parameters: from, number, to, colon number, and date, colon string. Okay. Now, just like this, that is a get API only. So get API. Instead of this, we have to pass the URL like this. So let's copy this. Make sure you copy it from over here. And let's paste it over here. And now we just need to pass the dynamic value. So here, dollar, curly bracket. Here we have to pass from ID. Then instead of 20, we have to pass to ID. So that will be 2. And lastly, date. So you can see we have created a function. And for this function, we need to pass 3 parameters, from, to, and the date. Then only we will be able to get the data. Now this function we have to call over here once we read the data, correct? So let's create the function get search trains. Now this dot, we haven't created object of train service. Let's create that train service is equal to inject train service. Now, so this dot train service dot, which method we have to use? Get train search. What data we need to pass? Now we need to pass as a parameter. So this dot search data dot from station ID, this dot search data dot to station ID we need to pass, and this dot search data dot date of travel. Then we need to subscribe result colon any. Let's add a debugger. I will showcase you if you are getting the data. And this function we will call once we read the query parameter. So don't add ng on it and do that. In the subscribe function of the params, we need to call this function search data like this. Because once we read the data, then only we need to call it. So this function will go over here. Let's save all and let's try to see if we are getting the data, proper search filter data. Let's go back. So what was it? From New Delhi to Solapur, and date of travel was 5th of May, 5th of, sorry, July. Now on click of search, we will navigate over here. We have got the data. Then we are storing that data into a variable. Then we are calling this function. It will go over here. So here we are passing the 220 and like that. Then it will go to this function. I will add the debugger over here also. Continue. So here you can see we have got 220 and date. Now let's continue. And now we have got the subscribe call in result. In data, you can see we have got 2 trains, what we have created. Dakshin Express and the New Delhi Solapur Express. Got it? So these trains now we have to showcase just in the UI, like we have shown it over here. Where it is? Yeah. So this UI, let's copy this UI now. Again, if you go to my repository, you have a search page. So let's get that search page data. So let's copy this. Let's paste it into the search page. Wait, something is missing. Divs are not proper. So in the search page, we should be able to see the UI. So see, UI is available. Now we just need to dynamic this. So here, like this detail. So this is the search text box. So whatever the content we have searched, that should be selected over here, selected from station to station. We will do that. First, we will bind the data over this, like what number of trains we have got, that we will bind it over here. Again, we have not completed the login and everything, but let me just complete the basic thing. So this is the call6 div, which we are going to use to iterate the trains. So let me just close everything, remove unnecessary capital things, a repeated thing. Then we have to use for loop. And in this, oh, we didn't create the variable. Now again, we are going to get the trains data. So let's see the response. So this type of data we are going to get. Now we are going to create the interface. So now there is a directly site also. Convert TS, sorry, JSON to TS. It will create an interface for us. Let's use this. Let's paste our JSON. So now you can see we got the interface TypeScript. Let's copy this. Let's paste it into our train. Instead of type, we have to say interface like that. So this is like train object. So I train, it's an interface. So I train. Now in search space, we are going to get an array of that. So let's create an instance. Train list. Data type will be I train. It is going to be array. So square bracket is equal to empty. Now, whatever the data we are going to get from this API, we have to store it into this variable res.data. Correct. Now, this data in this array, we are going to get the all the trains data. Now, this we have to bind it over here. And the repeated this call6 is going to be responsible to show that train data. Now, here we need to show the train name. So item dot where will be train name. So train name. Wait. Okay, so here train name, then we have to showcase the train number inside round bracket. So this is the benefit of creating interface and everything. You get intelligence, you don't make the spelling mistake. Item dot train number. Then this is what do we say? Time. So item dot arrival time, departure time we need to showcase. Arrival station name. And date also we need to showcase. Item dot departure date, we need to add the date pipe. So date colon dd hyphen mmm hyphen yy. We are using date pipe, so we need to import that also. So date pipe. Then total hours of journey, I think I didn't add it, but let me just complete remaining thing. So item dot what will be it? Departure. Sorry, departure station name should be over here. Then here arrival station time. Here item dot arrival station name and the date. Oh, we didn't add the time. Let it be. Let's save and check. So see, we are able to see the two trains which were available. Something is not correct. Why 20? What is this 24? Something is hard code. Wait, we missed something to bind. This will be like from station detail, total hour journey, and to station detail. Okay, zoom size were not proper. So two stations are available and here two result found. So we need to just showcase the number of trains we have got. So instead of that hard code 4, where was it? Here, we just need to showcase the length of the trains we have found. Length. So now two results found. Now we just need to bind the data also over here. So let's do that now. So whatever the search parameter we have got, that we need to bind it over here also. Here also we need to showcase because this is static, and here also we need to bind. So the parameters, whatever we have got, that we have stored into an object, correct? So that is search data. So now this we can bind directly to the input elements also. Again, we are going to use form module. So ng model. So we have to import forms module. Let's add that. Now this object we will bind to our drop down and everything. Square bracket, round bracket, ng model. Again, here also we are going to we have to call the API to get all the station. There only that station will be selected from station ID. Let me just copy paste. This will be to station ID, and this will be travel date, date of travel. Let's remove this hard code one. Now, what do we have? Let's save this and let's see if we are able to see the, yeah, obviously it won't be able to because we didn't call the date is visible over here, but stations are not selected because this is just the static. Now, whatever we have done in the home component, that is to load all the stations. So that same thing, I'm just going to copy paste the same function. We have to call it over here. Then this function we are going to call on the page load. So trainer service station list variable we are going to need. So this variable, let's copy, let's paste it over here. Let's add the import. Then on ng on it, we need to call that also. So let's add the on init function. This already I have explained in home components, so I'm not going to explain now. Implements on init, and then in ng on init, we will call that function. So this same thing will go over here. Now let's save and check. Oh, one more thing, drop down should be dynamic, right? So this for loop, we need it over here instead of this static one. We will have this. Let's save and let's check. So now you can see New Delhi and Solapur is coming. Now on click of modify. Yeah. So see, from the home page, user is going to select some station and he's going to land to the, what do we say? Search page. But from here also I can change it. Let's say I want to, from New Delhi to, I want to search for Shivmoga station. So on click of modify search also, we need to call this function only again, because this model only we have binded to the form. So again, we can call this function on the click of modify search. So this button. So round bracket, click event, function, round bracket. So let's test this also. Let's say from New Delhi to Gwalior, I'm searching for the same bit. Modify search. Nothing happening. Let's check. It is there. Result.data. Why we are getting the trains from station ID 2 to station ID 20? It's not changing. Why it's not changing? Okay, cannot assign read-only property station ID to object. Why it is saying read-only? From station ID, it is saying this is read-only. Why it is saying read-only? So whatever the data we have got, that we have assigned it over here. Instead of directly assign the object, let's do this. So from station ID, instead of directly assigning, now I'm just assigning one property from that. So station ID and date of travel. That might be causing it as a constant. So let's save now. Okay, now if I change to Gwalior, And if I click on modify search, yeah, so you can see now we have got the empty. So just do one change. Instead of directly assigning the whole object from query parameter, instead of just assign one property like this. Otherwise, it was considering that as a constant, because from query parameter we were directly assigning same to over here. So like query parameter we are not able to change. So that's why it was behaving like that. So now from that object we are extracting particular value and assigning it back to the object field. Now, so here you can see if we search, zero trains found, and this also we need to dynamic. So that will be, now here you can see we have to showcase the city name and everything, but it will take some time, but I will just ignore this because this is not a priority. Now, if I select Solapur for the particular date, we have some matching trend. Now I need to move to the booking functionality. So if I click on book now, I need to open that book now feature. But before that, user is trying to book the ticket, but before doing the booking, he needs to first register and do the login. Then only he will be able to book the ticket, because while booking, we need to send the customer ID, like who is booking the ticket. So for now, we have to complete the login and the registration part. So in the now bar, we have this login button, correct? So on click of this now login button, we will open the pop-up for the login and the registration. So let me just get that pop-up. So from the template in index page, you will see model pop-up is there. So registration and the login. So let's copy both. And this login and the registration pop-up will go into my home component, sorry, app component, because there we have the nav bar. So in the app component, after the router outlet, I will put my models. Let me just format. Okay. So here we have two model, registration model and the login model. So now if user is logged in, or in the login, instead of login, we will have two links, one for the login and one for the registration. Register. Now let's remove this href. We don't need it. Now on click of this login, we need to open this model pop-up. On click of this register, we need to open this model pop-up. So we will create a functions now to open the model pop-up. Open register. So here constant model is equal to document dot get element by id. I'm just using the quickest way. We can create the view child also, and we will be selecting this id. We'll go over here. Let's add a null check if model not equal to null. What we will do, we will just add a dynamic style. So model dot style dot which style display is equal to block. Just like this, we will need one more function for login also. So I will just copy, paste over here, login model, open, login. Just like these methods, we are going to need one more method to close it also. So I will just copy, paste. Instead of open, it will be close register. Instead of block, it will be none. Means we are going to hide that model pop-up. Close login and none. And now this function we have to call on the anchor tag. So this will be from bracket click, open register. Just like that, we need to call that function login over here. So that is open login. We'll go over here. Let's save and check if we are able to open the model pop-up. So on click of register, you can see register pop-up is there. Let's reload. We didn't call the close function, right? Now over here, we have the close icon also. So here we need to right click. What it will be, close login. The first model pop-up is okay, register. Close register. Over here also it will go, and same thing at the end for closing. Here also we will have it. Then same in the login case also. Over here we need to call close login function, and the same thing will go in the footer also. Let's save and check. So if I click on login, login pop-up is visible. I need to change this title. On click of close, it is getting closed. On click of register, register. Correct. So basic opening and closing is working fine. Here it will be a login. Now, so let me show you the API. Now we have to register, we have to allow user to register. So we will have an API. Let me check that. Wait, login API is there. I think add passenger. Yeah. So this is just the API which we have to use to register. So this is the object. So let's copy this. And now this object we have to create it in our model file also. So is because we are creating class and interface. So JSON to TS site. Let's open quickly. Let's paste it. So this is my class. Let's copy. It will go to our train.ts. This will be class and it will be customer. Since this is a, what do we say, class, so we have a constructor and we need to initialize the properties also. So my constructor is not coming, sorry, not equal to constructor round bracket, and we need to initialize all the properties. So email ID is equal to empty. Let me just initialize all this. So here you can see I have initialized all the fields, whatever we have created. Now this class we have to use into our model component, sorry, app component. So let's create an instance of that. So register bj, data type will be this. Let's add the import of that. And we need to initialize it. It's a class, so new customer like this. Now this object we are going to bind to our form. So again, template form. So let's add forms module. I'm not using reactive form because it will take some time, right? Already I have created so many videos for reactive form. So you can just refer any, and instead of template, you can use that because functionality is the main thing what we should be focused about. So that's what I'm focusing on. ng model equal to double quotes. What we need to bind? Register object dot. Now this is going to be common. So what I will do, just copy. I will search this input type text. Okay, not everywhere we need it. So let's just copy paste manually. Email, phone, password. That's it. So here let's bind password. Then here phone. Then here email. So see the benefit of creating class and interface. You get IntelliSense and everything. Last name and the first name. Otherwise, we have to copy paste. Correct. Now, on click of register, we need to call the API. So click on register. Let's create this function. Now, on click of register, we are going to hit this API, add new passenger. Now we have to create the API call function into our service. So let's go to service, add new, let's say new, create new customer. Function name can be anything, correct? No. So return this dot http dot post API call will be there. Round bracket. Our URL will be this. So up till now, sorry, tilde sign we have to use. Template literal we are going to use. Dollar curly bracket. So this dot API URL, then this is first parameter, comma, second parameter will be object. So we will be receiving parameter object colon. Now data type will be this only, customer. So instead of any, we will provide it over here as a customer. And this object, we need to pass it over here as a second parameter. Wait, like this. Now this function is created. Now this function we have to call on this function. So this, and we need to create an instance of that train service also. Train service is equal to inject. What we are going to inject? So train. service. Now here, this dot range service dot which API, which function we have to call? Create new customer. And what parameter we will be passing? The object which we have created and which we have bind to the form. Then we need to subscribe, round bracket, result, colon any. Now here you can see everywhere we are specifying as any, but we know what kind of data we are going to get from the API account. Only this, right? So let's create an interface for this. So let me just copy this, and that is like API response. We should not use any, right? So that's what I'm specifying everything with hard code interface or class. Result will be Boolean. Otherwise, everything will be, and data will be, instead of string, it will be any, because that is dynamic. Sometimes we will get a single object, array, or anything we can get. So that's why this data I'm keeping at any. Now, everywhere, wherever we are making the API call in the subscribe call, instead of any, now you can provide the data type like this. Now here, if res dot result check, see, now it is coming properly. Why it is saying like this? No overload matches the type of the variable. Okay, because this function is returning of type object. Why it is saying like this? Instead of any, we just specified the data type. That's it. The type object is missing in the following properties. Okay, so error might be from this function we are returning. We didn't specify the return type object only, and here we are specifying the data type. So that might be the issue. So here after this, you can specify the data type also like this API response. Now let's check if it is working properly. Yeah, so now you can see error is gone because from this function also we are returning proper data type so that we can subscribe to also. Okay, now, so once API call is success, result is true, we will show registration success. And in else, we will choose the error message. So alert, whatever the message we get from the API, so message. Let's try to register now. We call, yeah, everything is set. Let's try to create the registration now. Let's try to create with Sachin and Gulkar. Email ID is sachin@gmail.com. Phone number 111-222-33-2233445. Password, let's say 223344. Password I'm entering. Let's check the network call also. Now on click of register, debugger is there. Continue. Sequence contain more than one element. API issue is there. So over here, I should have handled that. So I think phone number or the email ID is unique. So let's try Sachin one. And over here, let's add 88. Let's try now register. Passenger already exists with the phone or the email. Sachin 12356. On click of register. Yeah, registration success. So make sure you are passing email ID and the phone number something unique, because these some APIs are open, so everyone is using it. So someone might have used this phone number. So this is my email ID. Let's get it. Let's put it over here. And password was this. And this is my phone number. So we have created one user. Now the login part. So the login API. So for login, what we need to send? Phone and the password. So we are not using email ID. By using phone and the password, we are going to log in. Now we have to create an instance of this also. So now over here, let's create now I'm going to just create an object over here instead of creating class. So login obj colon any is equal to object. Okay. but you have the time. I'm just trying to save the time. You have the time, create a class and everything. Okay. Now this object we need to bind to our login form. So this is our login component. So square bracket, round bracket, ng model is equal to this dot. So see the difference. If we have created a variable with any, so it doesn't IntelliSense anything. But in case of a class and interface, it will IntelliSense you properly. Phone. And last one is password. Let's copy, let's paste it. Now we have to create the login function also. So let's create this like it will be login on login. Now instead of customer, let's make it any only because I didn't create the class for that. Now, just like this, we have to create an instance of on login also on login. Which function we are going to call on login only. Same name we have, and here instead of register object, it will be login object. Login success. And once the login is success, we get the data in result.data. So that we need to store it. So local storage dot set item. Again, we need to store the data into local storage, but local storage will allow only data type of string. So we need to convert the data. So this will be key will be train app. And while storing the data, we need to convert it back to the string format. So JSON.stringify, what we need to pass result.data. Let's save. Now this function we need to call on our login button. So over here, click login. Let's save and check if we are able to log in with the user we have just created right now. On click of login, we get the login pop-up. What was the username? So this was the mobile number and this was the password. Let's try to enter the wrong password first. On click of login, so now you can see it is saying like wrong credential, check the phone number and password because we have passed the wrong password. So here you can see in the payload, it is all data is going properly. Let's try the correct password. Now on click of login, you can see login success. And what in the result, you can see in the data, we have got the data, whatever we have provided while login. Now that we have stored in the local storage also. So here you can see in train app, we have stored the data. So login part is done. But here you can see I have logged in, but still this login and the registration button is visible. So for that also we need to write the code. So just so in app component only we have the navbar. So once user is logged in, let's create a variable to check if user is logged in. Logged user any, or we are going to get a data type of customer only is equal to new customer. So we have created an instance of customer object. Now, once we log in, we are going to store the data over here, but with that, we will store the data inside this variable also. So that will be result.data. And on page load also, because once user logged in, he might refresh. So on page load also, again, we need to read that. So let's create the constructor, and on the page load, again, we will read the data from the local storage. So constant local data is equal to local storage dot get item. What will be the key? This is the key where we have stored the data, right? Let me just showcase you this first, then only you will understand. Now this variable is going to decide like if logged in user is there or not. So we have initialized this, right? So we can just check with any property, like if it is empty or not null. So here, let's add the @ if statement dot. I'm checking with passenger ID. Passenger ID is equal to 0. we will just check if customer ID is 0, we will get passenger ID is 0 means user is not logged in. So this we will assign it over here. This also will go over here. Okay, means if customer is not logged in, we will show the login and the register. And else to this, if customer ID is there, it means user is logged in. So we need to show the username. So that too with over here, let's showcase the username in the interpolation. Dot, let's say phone number only we will show. And over here, we will have a log off button. Log off on log. So on click of log off, what we have to do? We have to clear the local storage data. And we have to clear this variable also because this variable will decide like user is logged in or not. So this dot log custom logged user is equal to new. I'm just initializing it again. It's a class, so we can initialize like this. And we need to remove the local storage data also. Local storage dot remove item. What we need to pass the key which we want to remove. So this, let's save and check if we are able to see it properly. Correct. Now you can see in the application local storage we have already data, but still it is logging. So that's why we have to write that code on the page load also here. So if local data is not equal to null, remember whenever you are reading the data from the local storage, make sure you add a null check. If it is not equal to null, where we need to store the data over here. So this dot logged in user data is equal to, but while storing the data, we have converted it to the string format. So again, we need to convert it back to the object format. So for that, JSON dot parse method we have to use. And what we will pass? The local data. Let's save and let's check it now. So now you can see login name is visible because we have the logged in user. See how many times we refresh, still data is visible. Now if I click on log off, so see data is removed and again login and the registration button is visible. So this is the login and the registration part. Now the left part is the booking part. So now after login and the registration, we have to move to the booking parts. So let me just log in again. User phone number is this. Password is this. On click of login success, and you can see it is visible. But one more thing, like we forgot to close the, so once the user successfully registered and successfully login, we need to close this model pop-up also. So this function on close register, we have to call on success of it. So this dot close register over here, just like that. Once we do the login, we need to call the close login function so that model pop-up will close automatically. Now let's close it. Now we need to move to the booking part. So let's say user search from New Delhi to Solapur, date of travel, we have added just one on the 5th. So currently 2 trains are available. Now on click of book now, I should be able to book the train. So for booking, let me just get the API. Let's search train app. So for booking, we have the API that is book train. So now here book train API, you can see what object it needs. So booking ID is primary key, train ID like which train you are trying to book, that train ID. Passenger ID means logged in passenger ID, travel date, whatever the date you have selected. Then booking date, the current date, total seat, how many seats you are trying to book, and the number of seat informations. So here, let me open that template also because passengers are going to be multiple. So here we are going to get to see single with multiple entity form. Let's open it. So if I click on book now, see, I can add multiple passengers like this. On click of add, this should happen. So this is the UI our booking ticket going to have. Now, so on click of book now, first we need to open the model pop-up. So let's get that model pop-up code. So this is over here. Let's copy. This code will go into our search page because in the search page, we are going to do the booking. Let's add it at the end. Let's format it. Now this model pop-up we have to open. So again, the same thing, just like how we have done the code for open the model pop-up, just like that, I will just copy. Now in search.ts, just going to name open, and the model name is my model. So let's copy, let's paste, or instead of book model, let's copy, let's paste it over here, and just like that, close function also, none. Now this open function we have to call on the book now over here. Click this function, we have to call it over here. Let's save, let's save. So on click of book, now the model pop-up is opening. Now here we need to show the train name, the time, whatever the train we have selected, we just need to show that. So on click of book, now we just need to get the details and print it over here, just like we have done it over here. So we need to show the train name and the train time. So for that, we know like which train user has selected. So on click of book, now we can pass the train detail. So let's just modify it. Let's close this. We don't need it right now. So on click of open is the function which we are calling. So here we can pass the item. So item is nothing but the train info on which train we are clicking. So let's cache the train info. We have created that, right? Interface I train like this. Okay. Now this selected train, we need to store it also somewhere. So let's create a variable selected train colon I train data is equal to just like this. It's a interface. So now we have to initialize it also. Let's add a question mark. So it will become optional. Now, so whatever the train user has selected, that data we need to store in this variable. So let's assign that. So this dot selected train is equal to train, whatever the data we get. Let me just quickly check it if we are able to do it or not. And whatever the data we have it over here, that we need to display it also. So selected train in the model pop-up here, instead of Pune Express, we will show the selected train dot train name. And let's showcase the train number also. Selected train dot train number. And here we need to showcase the time. Selected train dot arrival time. Sorry, departure time we need to show. Let's save and check if we are able to showcase the selected train detail. Now, if I click on Dakshin Express, so you can see Dakshin Express is visible over here along with the time. Let's close. Okay, close function, we didn't call it. Now, if I click on New Delhi, you can see New Delhi is visible. So whatever the train name we select, that data is getting populated over here. Now, the next thing we need to add, we need to write a functionality for this. On click of add, we are going to add multiple passengers. So for that, let's see the data type. So you can see this kind of data we are going to need. So let's copy. These are nothing but the passenger detail. In my train. So out of this, what we are going to need, just three things: passenger name and age. So let's not create an interface or class. I will just create a normal object. So passenger detail. Any is equal to, what I need is just three things. That is passenger name and the age. Remaining two things are primary key and the parent key. That we don't need to send it. Seat number is also, once you book it, you will get the seat number. Now, this object we need to bind to our form in the model pop-up. So that is over here. Square bracket, round bracket, ng model equal to double quote dot. Here we need to bind passenger name and Here we need to bind the age. Let's initialize that with empty only. Now we have binded that. Now on click of add, we need to add the passenger data to an array. So let's create that array also. So that will be passenger list colon any square bracket is equal to empty. Now on click of add, we are going to add this passenger into this. So let's create add function. Click add passenger round bracket. Let's create this function. So this is the tricky part over here. So just pay attention how I'm doing it. Likewise, you have to do it. So now this dot passenger list dot push. What I'm going to push? The object which I have binded to the form. That is passenger object. Now let's add this passenger list. How many passenger we have added that we need to showcase in the table. So here at the rate for loop we will take, and this tr instead of static it will be now dynamic. So let's move it over here. Let's remove the static one. Now here we need to display the index. So instead of static one, it will be $index plus 1 because indexing will start from 0. Over here we need to display item dot passenger name, that is nothing but this. Then item dot age we need to display. Let's save and let's try to check if we are able to add it. So on click of book, now you can see currently passenger is empty. Let's say Poonam age 23. On click of add, you can see it is getting added. But here is the problem. So again, if I'm trying to add, see, if I'm changing it over here, this is also changing. That's because it is holding the reference of that object and that array. So we need to detach that. So to do that, while adding, we need to convert the object into string. strobj is equal to json dot stringify. What we need to stringify? The passenger object. So this will go over here. And again, we need to convert it back to the object format. Parse obj json dot parse method. And what we need to pass? This new string converted string object. And then this object we will pass to push to the array so that it will hold the reference between this array and that object. Let's check it now. Poonam 23 add Rahul. See, now it is not changing. Okay. Now on click of book, now we have to integrate the API call. So this is my object. So let's copy this. Let's convert this to JSON to TS. Let's copy this. Or we, instead of doing that now, we can directly use the object into our function only. So in search function, we have this book now button, right? So let's create a function, click book ticket. Now in this function only, we will create our object. Now in book ticket, I will create the local object constant booking obj is equal to, let's get the object from Swagger. Let's paste it over here. Now travel date. Where is the travel date? In this object, search data. So date of travel will go over here. Sorry, over here. Booking date, we can get the current date. So new date, it will get us the current date. Total number of seats, I will come to that. This also by default, I will keep it empty. Then booking ID is 0, train ID. How do we know the train ID? So once we click on the open, we are storing the selected train into this. So this will go over here, dot train ID. Correct? So we have got train ID, travel date also, passenger ID, logged in user ID, logged in user ID. So while login, we have stored the logged in user detail. So that we have stored into this key, correct? So we need to read that. While storing, we have converted it to string format. So again, we need to convert it back to the parse format, JSON format. So let's create logged user data colon any, that is nothing but customer. Let's initialize it all. It's a class, so we can initialize it properly. Correct. Now on the constructor, on the page load, we need to read the local storage data. Instead of set item, it will be get item, and we need to pass the key. So key we have already pasted. Then since we are reading the data from the local storage, so we should add a null check, not equal to null. If it is not equal to null, then we will store the data into this variable. But before assigning, we need to convert it to object also, because while storing, we have converted into string format. So local data, we need to pass it over here. And so logged in user data, we will get it over here. So passenger ID dot passenger ID. So from over here, we will get the data. Booking ID is a primary key, so we have to send it 0. Total number of seats, I will come to this. So basic object we have created. Now on click of add passenger, here we are storing the passenger list. So now booking object dot train booking passenger is equal to, we need to pass this array over here. Why it is giving array? Okay, we didn't specify the data type. So let's add any of this like this. As any, yeah, like this. Okay. So again, one thing is remaining, that is total seats. So how many total seats? Nothing but what number of passenger we have added. So total seat is equal to this dot passenger list dot length. After that, we need to make the API call. So in train service, let's create the API call function. Post API is there. So I'm just copying this book train. Let's get the method name. That is nothing but book train. And we need to pass the objects. Now this service function we need to call over here. So this dot train service dot book train, we need to pass the object. So object is nothing but this local object. This we need to pass it over here. Dot subscribe round bracket result colon API response. Let's check it. So again, we need to add that result check. So res dot result. If it is true, we can show the alert message like ticket booked successfully. And if else, we will show the error message. So alert re dot message. Correct. So let's try to add a debugger and let's debug the whole thing. So let's try to use the Dakshin Express. On click of book now, we are getting the detail. Let's add Poonam 23, add Rahul 32, 31 add. So we have added 2 passengers. Now on click of book now, let's see if the object is getting created properly or not. So on click of book now, API call is there. So here you can see train ID. We have got the train ID, passenger ID also we have got, date of travel is also we have got, booking date is there. And in passenger list, you can see array is also there. So object we have created. See the data, whatever we have assigned is there. Now we just need the passenger list. So that we have got it from over here. Now we have got that also. Now just total seats are remaining. So dot length, that is also there. So now whole object is ready. Booking ID is primary key, so that will be 0. Now let's try to continue. We have got error. I thought something spelling mistake is there. Yeah. So you can see book should be there, but spelling mistake is there. Let's try now. Again, we have to do. Now I'll click a book. Now let's add Poonam 23. Rahul. On click of add, once we add it, you can clear this also. 31. Now let's click on book now. So now object is proper. Let's continue. So now in result, you can see we have got it true. And message is also there. So booking is successfully. Okay, so we have booked the train. Now, how to check the booking? Like we have booked the train, but how we will know like booking is done or not? So there are certain APIs, get train booking. So if we say this, so our departure ID was, I think, let's try that, 220, and the date was, let's get the date from network only. Travel date was this. Let's see if we can see the bookings. Yes, so here you can see total seat 300. Yeah, so here you can see this is the Dakshin Express we have booked. So while creating train, total seats were 200. Now here you can see two seats are booked. So available seats are 198. Correct? So this is like get the all train data. Then if we have to see the bookings created by me, passenger ID. So passenger ID is logged in ID is 674. So let's call this API 674. So this API is responsible to see all the bookings created by you. So see, we have created two bookings, two ticket booked with, right? So first it has got seat number 1 and second has got seat number 2. Means Rahul has got seat number 2 and Poonam has got seat number 1. Correct? And all the details are there. Now this is just a simple GET API. You can call this and you can create one more page where my booking and you can show this data. I won't be covering that because it is just a normal GET API call. Okay. So this is how we have completed the whole ticket booking application. Now, if we compare, again, check availability function is also there. That API is also there. Let me show you that also. Where is check availability? I think I forgot to create that API. No worries. I will create one API where you need to pass the same data like train number for this particular date. And I will give you like tickets are available or not. On click of it, you can just call the GET API with those two parameters and you will get the data. But in the live version, you will be able to see that. Just in the video, I'm not covering that. But once I get the time and I will live this application, so in that you will be able to see how I have done that. Just like that, you can also do that. So your whole application will have a complete look and feel. Okay. Now, one more thing, like if we compare any booking portal, so the basic flow will be same like that. Again, like payment booking, payment gateway and everything will be there. But apart from that, everything will be same as it is. So if you see, if all the 300 tickets are booked, you won't be able to book the ticket. So just if you have to test that, create a train with maximum 10 seats and try to book the 10 records and again try to book. You will get the error like no seats available like that. So all the API functionality I have covered, you just have to test it now. So that's it with the current video. I hope it was helpful to you. If you are preparing for the interview, do create this application, mention it in your CV, have a live version on the GitHub, and you can showcase that in the interview. So that's it. Thank you all.